But there's no chance of you defecting and joining hands
That
with.
is
I mean,
not.
Segun Showumi was talking about the sort of the Yoruba group, the Yoruba ethnic
This
group, and
of
of
all
which you're a part. I mean,
of all the things he had to say,
I'm sure Tinubu would love to welcome you to his
of all the things that
political fold.
of all the things that Shegun had to say, the one that was stomach churning for me was the ethnocentric dimension that he introduced to it. Who cares? Well, you see, look, I don't care who the president of Nigeria is, as long as there is justice, as long as people can feed, there's health care. I lived in a country where my ethnicity didn't matter. Of course, the color of my skin did matter.
Yes, this was in America.
Yes, I lived in the US. But I could still find accommodation of that color of my skin and felt accepted in a country that I was never part of from the beginning. So for somebody to say, oh, Tinubu is Yoruba as a result, I'm Yoruba partly, I'm Ijaw partly, and I've opposed an Ijaw president before, Goodluck Jonathan, and I've opposed Yoruba president from Obasanjo to Tinubu. So there's nothing in my dictionary there's nothing appealing in saying that because somebody has a Yoruba name, that I should support the person blindly. That is not how I operate.
Well, that's not. You're right.
Yes, and that's why I'm so disappointed that. Yes, that's why I'm disappointed
but,
that
Nigerian politics is a bit different, isn't it?
But they do all this too for different reasons and for selfish reasons, likely. They don't care about the Yoruba people. They don't care about Hausas. Buhari was in power for 8 years. Tell me how many Northerners he lifted out of poverty. They didn't care about, they cared only about themselves. But there's a central elite in this country who speak one language, and that language is not the ethnocentric language we know. It is greed. At that point, it doesn't matter whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. When they're in that circle, who cares?
Yes, I suspect a lot of people would agree with you. But what about all these opposition coalition moves? Are you part of any of them?
No, I'm not part of. I have made it very clear that the opposition that Nigerian people need is the opposition created by the oppressed. Some of these opposition coalition moves you are saying are actually created to distract Nigerian people from creating their own opposition coalition. If you look at the people in these coalitions, there are people who are tired. Apart from the fact that there are people who are complicit in putting Nigeria where they are today, the people I call destiny rustlers, just as you talk about cow rustlers, they are, and a David Mark, who was president of the Senate for 8 years, was military ruler, who said, democracy can never come in his lifetime. He's the leader of the opposition. Where an El-Rufai who paid Fulani headsmen and openly confessed, it was on your show, that he paid them so that they would stop killing a Malami who was the Attorney General of Buhari some few months ago. I mean, like I keep asking, what is wrong with us Nigerians? How is it that we can't just one day say, look, enough of this, and we're going to change course? And that's where I stand. I'm here to help Nigerians change course for better, and not to help them turn the corner into another dark alley of destruction and ruination that's been brought to Nigeria by members of this coalition. And don't forget, this coalition people are the same people who created the APC. Just a few of them are not part of the APC coalition. So this is what they do for a living, creating coalitions that will come and still ruin and destroy your country. So it's up to you to say, look, this is not a coalition matter, it's a life and death issue.
I've often asked this question, or rather, I've often said this on this channel several times, that whether or not you like Sowore, whether or not he's been accused of working with Bola Tinubu, there's no proof yet, empirical proof to show that he's working for Bola Tinubu. But however you like or however you feel about the way he's been doing his own politics, one thing is certain. Most of the things that he says, apart from his sentimental view in certain area, maybe in the area of Peter Obi, is right. He's absolutely right. The Many people who are involved in this coalition formation are actually members of APC. The main people who are actually members of this coalition contributed to the, you know, destruction of Nigeria as we have it today. The main people who are members of this coalition are members of the elite. And what they're jostling for is a change of power from Bola Tinubu to themselves. Not because they want to change Nigeria and turn Nigeria in the right direction. Because if they did that, if they wanted to do that, they would have done that when they were in places of authority, whether they were Attorney General of the Federation under Buhari, like in the person of Abubakar Malami, or Atiku, who at the time was accused of corruption, or El-Rufai, who was accused of a lot of things in Kaduna State, or Amaechi, who also was part of the Buhari's corrupt government and the failure of a government, who was a presidential candidate in 2022, or rather contested before he dropped out. He lost a primary to Bola Tinubu and even did work, according to what we found out from Senator Ali Ndume, that Amaechi worked for El-Rufai as well to get Bola Tinubu into office. And because they've now fallen out, is now form an opposition against Bola Tinubu. Not because it feels that Nigeria should be in the hands of the right people to be run in the right direction, but it feels that power should be returning back to them. So, like Omoyele Sowore asks, what is wrong with us Nigerians? Is it a thing of a syndrome, Nigerian syndrome, not a Stockholm syndrome, a Nigerian syndrome, where we're constantly running back to our oppressors, to the people who are constantly pillaging the country, and then it is okay for us to defend the people who are literally insulting us every day by stealing from us. One thing you will always notice is that these political elites, every time they want to speak, they speak in the language of ethnocentric, ethnicity, tribal, and religion. When they want to speak to the Nigerian, normal Nigerian, they use that pattern, and it's still consistently their game plan. Use that pattern to divide us. Whilst when they're together, you see, when Babangida had his book launch, they all sat together, regardless of their political party affiliation. They stood together, shook hands, and they still called themselves brothers and sisters. But when we say we want good governance, they use religion, ethnicity, and tribe to divide us. So Omoyele Sowore is right when he said that there's a central elite that speak the language of greed. It is not Hausa they speak. It's not Yoruba they speak. Igbo or Efik or Ibibio or Ijaw or Yoruba or, Afemai language. It is not that language they speak. They speak a language of greed, of money, of corruption. But when you want to fight against that corruption, or you want to say it's enough, we want good governance, they come up and say, no, it's an Hausa man that is in power, it's a Yoruba man that is in power, it's an Igbo man that is in power, there's an Afemai man in power. So we should, go with that, and then they use that to distract us. So indeed, he is right. The coalition is, but this is a collection of people who have contributed to the destruction of Nigeria, not because they're happy. Was Amaechi not part of Buhari's government when Buhari was destroying Nigeria? Was Malami not part of Buhari's government when Buhari was destroying Nigeria? Did Malami not aid and abet was accused to have done corruption cases that were even, caught out in it? What about Amaechi? What about the case of El-Rufai? How he sat down there, did nothing for the people, especially those of southern Kaduna, as they were killed, maimed, destroyed. I've said this several times. People would not care who the president of Nigeria is. Nigerians don't want to, no more Nigerians don't care who the president is. As long as the country is an equitable country, egalitarian enough to say that there's justice, equity, and fairness for everybody. Nigerians don't care. We don't care if he's an Hausa person or Igbo person or Yoruba person. These are the things that the guys who are sitting around the corridors of power doing. All this coalition they're forming, maybe they want to use Peter Obi to spearhead it. It's just to wrestle power out of Bola Tinubu and continue doing and rustling people's destiny, in the words of Omoyele Sowore. So they are all one. So for us as Nigerians, that's why I've said this on this channel. Look at the policies of these individuals. We didn't look at the policies of Bola Tinubu as much as we didn't want him to be president, because we knew he didn't have the charisma or the character to become our president. We knew that Bola Tinubu was going to sell Nigeria short. But if you look at Bola Tinubu's policies, which weren't his anyway, or they're not his, has he been able to fulfill even one? So investigate their policies. Make sure that when you look at their policies, you're happy with whatever they're offering. If not, we're going to find ourselves in this darkness under these corrupt politicians who have become worse than the military. So Omoyele Sowore is right. He's right. You know, but again, politics is about number. Does he have the numbers to defeat Bola Tinubu in 2027? That's the flip side of the coin here. If Peter Obi goes at it alone, does he have the numbers to defeat Bola Tinubu? Or this coalition, would they have the numbers to defeat Bola Tinubu? So that's the question here. If they form this coalition where PDP is not the majority anymore, and it becomes Peter Obi, is that good enough to actually defeat Bola Tinubu in 2027? These are the questions that need answering. All right. So I don't know what your thinking is, or what you think about this conversation about Omoyele Sowore had with on Arise TV with Charles. But put your thoughts, your ideas, and your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also remember to share this content with others in this station or this channel as well. I'll catch you up in the next video. God bless you. Bye bye for now.